Warning, this video contains spoilers for Star Trek Discovery Season 1 and Star Trek Discovery Season 2. Star Trek Discovery Season 2, Episode 13, Such Sweet Sorrow. I had a really hard time writing the review for this episode. While so many little character moments stand out and really shine, it felt like so many bizarre plot choices were there to really take me out and ruin the experience. I watched this episode 3 full times before doing my review watch-through so that I could fully understand what was happening and my feelings regarding it. My goal with this review is not to dog on Discovery for the same bizarre plot choices other incarnations of Trek have gotten away with, but to really hone in on some of the things that uniquely stood out to me as bad, while also sharing with you some of the things that I really enjoyed. Let's jump into it. I really liked the evacuation corridor sequence. The deployment of them looked like something still connected to realistic technology, while also having a future spin on it. I know a lot of the old-time fans may wonder why they didn't just use the transporters or emergency evacuation pods, but this is a lot of people and equipment moving from one place to another in a very short period of time, so this works well for me. I enjoyed seeing the combination of the Disco crew and Enterprise crew working together after the evacuation. Everything about the Enterprise set is really amazing. The hallways look great, the turbo lift being activated through the handlebar, the colors, the chairs, the bridge layout, even the soundtrack playing while they're on the Enterprise is awesome. Everything was really well done, and even though it's supposed to be the same ship we saw back in the 60s, I really think that the set builders, the designers, and props departments knocked the updated look out of the park. To me, it showed off a great blend of the old styles mixed with the new, and in my opinion, even better captures the essence of updating the 1960s visuals than the Discovery sets do. Georgiou hating the orange of the Enterprise was nice. She would hate color now that the only thing she wears is all black. But also to add, Michelle Yeoh was on full display again throughout this entire episode.
We would be directly responsible for destroying all life within dozens of light years, if not more.
Yep.
We're not doing that.
I thought there were no bad ideas.
That's a lie.
That's a bad one.
The attack on the Discovery sequence with Leland killing the entire bridge crew is really well shot and edited, but I'll get to my issues with this vision and the time crystal later on. This shot of Zahia was really beautiful. While I dislike the short trek runaway, I like the Queen of Zahia character named Poe. Her makeup looks cool, her character is fun, and I like the way she blinks. We get some healthy closure between Culber and Stamets this episode, and while I appreciate the show's attempt at trying to show off how important a good breakup is to one's emotional state, there's no doubt in my mind that these two will get back together at some point either in the finale or shortly into Season 3. The final goodbye between Ash and Michael was, by itself, a really beautiful scene. I think the build-up to this episode for their relationship wasn't well planned out for the entire season arc, but nonetheless, it was well acted and filmed beautifully. Pike saying goodbye to the crew individually and thanking them for the things that they have done for the Discovery throughout this season was really touching, and reminded me again of the Pike spirit that hopefully Discovery can carry on now that this character has gone back to the Enterprise. Jet Reno was another character on full display in this episode. Her character just seems almost too natural on screen, like someone I've been watching for years. Perhaps that's just how good the actress Tig Notaro is, or that's just how good the character is being written, but for me, she's always a delight.
I'm Taryn, by the way, from your mirror universe.
What mirror universe?
Okay, now it's time to dig into the stuff that bugs me. First off, I'm willing to accept that they contacted the Enterprise before Control took down the Starfleet subspace relays, and I'm willing to overlook the travel times depicted in the show because Trek is always notorious with taking liberties on how long warp travel should take, and also the fact that the Zahia Queen knows exactly how to charge up the time crystal that she's never heard of. These are all standard issues with Star Trek episodes that I'm willing to overlook. Now that those qualifiers are out of the way, let's start with the time crystal. Disobeying Pike's orders, Burnham decides to deactivate the crystal's containment cage and just grab it. This causes her to have the vision of Leland killing the Discovery bridge crew and allowing her mind to jump forward and backward into time, similarly to the way Pike's vision worked on Boreth. Burnham then actively works with her shipmates throughout the episode to change the future shown to her by the crystal. And yes, I do mean changed. Burnham isn't wearing the special time travel suit in this vision, which she's obviously wearing during the showdown with Leland's fleet at the end of this episode, so she has now actively changed the vision's outcome. Several things here. One, this is now telling us that Pike's fate can also be similarly changed. 2, it's been established in the last 2 episodes that if you want to have a crystal vision, you have to touch it. However, at the end of this episode, there's suddenly an assumption that without the cage, everyone will see visions and slowly lose their minds. And 3, why does Reno need to stay with the crystal or in that room at all? Why not just deactivate the cage remotely or have her beamed out of the room after the work is complete? Now let's talk about the sphere data. Okay, so the data is now seemingly completely intertwined with the Discovery's computer AI and able to control certain ship functions, including the self-destruct. And this makes sense. It's a natural progression for the sphere's attempt at self-preservation. So just sticking with the plot points presented to us here in this episode, there are several things the crew should have done beyond what they actually did, which is to try to build a new time suit. Number 1, they could have just shot a phaser at the warp core and blew the ship up. They could have fired more torpedoes at the Discovery and blew it up. They could have used Discovery's command codes to bring down its shields and then fired more torpedoes. Or they could have just jumped the Discovery back to Earth where they can tell Starfleet what's going on and be protected by the entire Federation armada. And probably the completed brand new Earth space dock. These are some pretty basic choices here, and ones that should have occurred to this crew rather quickly. Or, I don't know, another wild idea. How about you try to actually talk to the clearly sentient being that is the Sphere AI data and explain what the hell is going on? Because, I don't know, maybe it can use its thousands of years of knowledge in helping defeat Control, or allowing itself to be blown up this time because it understands the risks. Speaking of Control, let's talk about that now. So the whole thing here is they want to ensure that Control doesn't achieve full sentience, and it can only do that with the Sphere data. Right, but this AI just wiped out the entire Section 31 organization, the most secretive organization within the Federation, in like 2 days, and then commandeered their entire fleet and is now actively hunting Discovery around the galaxy with impunity. What exactly does it need the Sphere data for again? Because it seems to me like Control has already got the necessary skills to win this fight. Finally, I always love Sarek and Amanda on screen. I really do. But warping over to the Discovery just to say goodbye to Michael and then leave is mind-boggling. When they showed up on screen in this episode, I actually thought for sure this was a Katra projection like we saw in Season 1. But nope, they flew from Vulcan just to say goodbye to Michael and not even say goodbye to, I don't know, Spock, and they just leave both of them to fight Leland and Control alone. Sarek, my man, remember how Starfleet appointed you to lead a task force in investigating those red bursts? Yeah, maybe bring some ships with you to help defend your children. Maybe alert Starfleet to your vision and rally the Federation fleet around the Discovery and the Enterprise. Nope, none of that. You're just gonna warp in real quick, say goodbye, and I hope you die well-adopted daughter, and not even to live long and prosper for your son? Okay. My final thoughts are this. This has to be the most divisive episode of the series for me. I cannot praise the visuals and character moments enough, but the terrible plot and character choices make me want to rip my hair out. Honestly, the love-hate that I have for this episode captures my overall feelings towards Season 2 of Discovery very well. Some fantastic wowing and amazing moments, mixed with some head-scratching ideas sprinkled about. Ultimately, I am excited to see the series finale next week and what kind of cliffhanger we're going to get for Season 3.